Friedrich Nietzsche, A Letter to His Sister, 1865. As for your principle that truth is always on the side of the more difficult, I admit this in part. However, it is difficult to believe that 2 times 2 is not 4. Does that make it true? On the other hand, is it really so difficult simply to accept everything that one has been brought up on and that has gradually struck deep roots? What is considered truth in the circle of one's relatives and of many good men, and what, moreover, really comforts and elevates men? Is that more difficult than to strike new paths, fighting the habitual, experiencing the insecurities of independence and the frequent wavering of one's feelings and even one's conscience? Proceeding often without any consolation, but ever with the eternal goal of the true, the beautiful, and the good? Is it decisive, after all, that we arrive at that view of God, world, and reconciliation which makes us feel most comfortable? Rather, is not the result of his inquiry something wholly indifferent to the true inquirer? Do we, after all, seek rest, peace, and pleasure in our inquiries? No, only truth, even if it be the most abhorrent and ugly. Still, one last question. If we had believed from childhood that all salvation issued from someone other than Jesus, say from Muhammad, is it not certain that we should have experienced the same blessings? Faith does not offer the least support for a proof of objective truth. Here the ways of men part. If you wish to strive for peace of soul and pleasure, then believe. If you wish to be a devotee of truth, then inquire. The errors of great men are venerable because they are more fruitful than the truths of little men. Schopenhauer's ethics is often criticized for not having the form of an imperative. What the philosophers call character is an incurable disease. An imperative ethics is one that deals with the symptoms of the disease, having the faith, while it fights them, that it is getting rid of the real origin, the basic evil. Anyone who would base practical ethics on aesthetics would be like a physician who would fight only those symptoms which are ugly and offend good taste. Philosophically viewed, it makes no difference whether a character expresses itself or whether expressions are kept back. Not only the thought, but the disposition already makes the murderer. He is guilty without any deed. On the other hand, there is an ethical aristocracy just as there is a spiritual one. One cannot enter it by receiving a title or by marriage. In what way, then, are education, popular instruction, catechism justified and even necessary? The unchangeable character is influenced in its expressions by its environment and education, not in its essence. A popular ethics, therefore, wants to suppress bad expressions as far as possible for the sake of general welfare, an undertaking that is strikingly similar to the police. The means for this is a religion with rewards and punishments, for the expressions alone matter. Therefore, the catechism can say, "Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not curse," etc. Nonsensical, however, is an imperative. Be good as well as be wise or be talented. The quote-unquote general welfare is not the sphere of truth, for truth demands to be declared even if it's ugly and unethical. If we admit, for example, the truth of the doctrine of Schopenhauer, but also of Christianity, concerning the redemptive power of suffering, then it becomes regard for the quote-unquote general welfare, not only to lessen suffering, but perhaps even to increase it, not only for oneself, but also for others. Pushed to this limit, practical ethics becomes ugly, even consistent cruelty to human beings. Similarly, the effect of Christianity is unnerving when it commands respect for every kind of magistrate, etc., as well as the acceptance of all suffering without any attempt at resistance.